So I declared victory. I bought a house for my parents, I bought a house for myself, I bought cars, but I wasn't feeling very happy. I was feeling successful by the norm of how big is your bank account and the collection of assets that you start to have. But it didn't feel enriching, and I was disappointed. It was, at a very young age, is that it? Did I win the race and declare victory? And so I was working for a big company now, and I was still managing my company, and then I got on the wrong airplane. And so I write in my book, I had a reckoning. I was on a plane, and we lost our landing gear and our flaps, and we had about 35 minutes to prepare for an emergency landing. And I started to pray, because that seemed like the right thing to do. And while I have faith, I hadn't served in a long time in organized religion. And on the plane, people were crying, there were other people praying, and I started to pray, and I got a couple of minutes into it, and it felt inauthentic. I could almost see if God was tuning in, saying, "Oh, sure, now you need me." So I started to revert to type, and I started to negotiate. And the conversation went something like this: if I don't want to die, I get it. I understand that this first 26, 27 years of my life has been spent on someone else's program track, and that success hasn't been driven by the accumulation of things, and that if you let me get through this, I'll leave more than I take. That was the basic sales pitch. And so I did get through it, and I was totally ill-prepared on how to live up now to this promise. And that was troubling. So the weekend after, I made a list. And I'm not very proud of the list today. It was the list of a young man, but it shows as a proxy how difficult it is without tools to take a reckoning and make a list. And I made my life list. I did 101 things to do before I die. And I think I'm at 83 of the 101 things to do. Fall in love, get married, have children, have grandchildren, take care of my parents, change people's lives via charity, take a company public, catch a foul ball.
There were some big things on that list.
There's some big things. Win an Emmy, win an Oscar, win a championship.
I like the one, play one-on-one with Michael Jordan.
I did play one-on-one with Michael Jordan. And so bottom line, I started to come up with that in life there are reckonings, small, medium, and large, and that the first thing you do from a reckoning is take stock and make a list. Well, that's what you do in business. All our businesses have their reckonings. Products don't work, there's financial setbacks, and you start to make your list. And so I started to look at personal development and company development in a similar fashion, and that embracing reckonings and making your list becomes important. And over the years, I started to realize that this life list, the checking off of things, while it gave meaning and structure to your time, the bandwidth that you had available, that sometimes it was too random. And I started to think long and hard about, why do businesses succeed? Why do individuals succeed? And then I went on a field trip for school with my son, and we went to the Library of Congress. And the Library of Congress is this wonderful resource here in Washington, D.C., and they have the Declaration of Independence, written by the smartest people in certainly our democracy's history, our founding fathers. And we forget someone wrote a first draft of the Declaration of Independence, and then Ben Franklin edited it, and Thomas Jefferson edited it, and they have at the Library of Congress every pass of it with all of the edits, and then how it came out as the final entity. And the only line that wasn't edited was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And here I am with my son, and I was mentoring and teaching my son the way my parents taught me, and I had never really focused on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It was always the pursuit of success. And so I really started to think, is it that success brings happiness, or does happiness bring success? And that was the big pivot for me, that really why I was pursuing my life list was I wanted a happy life. There was nothing happy when the plane was going down. I wasn't at peace, and that my list was a search to how do I make the rest of my life happy.